Welcome back, guys. This is VIN 1618, just popped up at a Toyota dealer in North Carolina. And this is a 2016 083, which is ultra white with LA20 interior, which is black interior. Now, this car is for sale for $50,000 and a little bit, $50,000 with 58,000 miles. And it looks like it's a North Carolina car its entire life. And it does have a few mods, but it looks like it's mostly cosmetic. It's wrapped black roof, wrapped hood, chrome delete, black mirrors, black B-pillars, things like that. So a lot of wrapping going on. I don't think it's painted. It's probably wrapped, but I would inspect to make sure. And if the wrap is not your thing, obviously it's reversible, assuming it's wrapped. As always, I'll show you the production statistics and then we'll jump into it. So first and foremost, there were 648 of the 2,348 US 49 United States except Hawaii GSF produced, and of those 648, there were 267 that had the LA20 interior, the black interior. Specifically for 2016, there were 371 out of the 1,418 GSFs, and of those 371, 149 had the LA20 interior. So this car is one of 149 that exist in this combo for 2016, or one of 267 for all GSFs in the US market minus Hawaii. And as far as rarity goes, that's definitely on the more common side. Rare combinations on these cars, one of 1, one of 8, one of 20, something like that. This is one of 149, so it's not exactly a rare combination. Actually, it's the second most common, second only being to white with the red interior, which is the LA30 interior. All right, so now on to the Carfax, Epic VIN, and AutoCheck. Carfax shows this as a 3-owner, no accident car. Epic VIN shows this as a 3-owner, no accident car. And AutoCheck also shows it as a 3-owner, no accident car, so I think it's obviously safe to say this is a 3-owner, no accident car. Previous sales, this car was first put on sale in June of 2016 for $88,000 in North Carolina, and it looks like it was first registered in August of 2016, so 2 months from when it went on sale to when it sold. Pretty quick for these cars, especially when they were new. The next time it was for sale was November of 2018 for $58,000 with about 22,000 miles. $30,000 lost in just 2 years, just on depreciation. Pretty quick on these cars, but then you'll find these cars will stay around that spot. The next time it was for sale was June of 2023, so a little over 2 years ago. $53,000 with 50,000 miles. Not too far off of where it's at now, 58,000 miles and $50,000. It was for sale at a Honda dealer, and now it has that blacked out trim and the roof and things like that on it. So that's been on this car at least 2 years. And now the current listing, August 29th of 2025, 53,000 and then 50,000. So it looks like they immediately dropped it after they listed it, and 58,000 miles. Nearly zero depreciation over the last 7 years if you look at it like that. So whoever bought this car then, the second owner, they pretty much drove this car almost for free, and they got to put 30-something thousand miles on it. So pretty impressive to show how strong the values on these cars have remained. So now looking at the pictures, the dealers only provided 5 low-resolution pictures, so I can only go off of what I see here. Looking at the interior, it looks like, and it could be a reflection, it looks like the center console and the passenger side front door are starting to delaminate on the carbon fiber. Pretty common on these cars. You've heard any of these other videos that I've done for the deep dives. That's definitely a common issue. Definitely something to inspect if you're gonna go look at this car. That aside, I think it looks like it just needs a really good detail. I don't know if they just took these pictures right when they took it on a trade-in or something like that, but it definitely could use a good detail and much higher quality pictures. From a big Toyota dealer like this, I would assume that would kind of be the norm, where you'd have a bunch of 40, 50 high resolution pictures you can really look at for people that wanna buy this car online or something like that. And so that's not the case so far. They do have the original window sticker that they've provided, and so it's right here. As far as the rest of the pictures, there's not a whole lot to go on. You can tell that it's got a wrap and chrome delete and black mirrors, black B-pillars, but there's nothing else. It's basically going to warrant a much closer inspection if you are considering this car. Now, onto the service history. So the service history, it looks like the last Lexus service was about 2 years ago, October of 2023 at 52,000 miles. So this car is 58,000 now, so only 6,000 miles in 2 years. But it looks like it's been a combination of dealer serviced and like the Valvoline quick oil change type of places. So I wouldn't call it like heavily dealer service, but if there was an issue, especially while it was under warranty, it was taken care of. And so that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the service history and see what we find. So the first thing of note, December of 2016, the rear spoiler was ripped off in a car wash. That was an $8,000 oops. And there was also a ding that was repaired with paintless dent repair. December of 17, there was a popping in the rear that was noticed and a check engine light. The check engine light was just a loose gas cap. That happens with these cars. And the popping was, they replaced the left rear shock. And about 4 months later, they ordered the parts for the JLB recall, which is the high pressure fuel pump. And then it looks like there was yet noise again in that left rear. So they replaced the shock once again. Don't see anything after that, so I guess that addressed the issue. Could have been a shock mount that went bad, who knows? But it's been addressed twice. Looks like it's been resolved since then. November of 2018 notes a paint repair. It does not say in any detail what was done, maybe something interior as well. You can see it wasn't very specific as to what was done, so I don't have anything to go off of. Take a good look around the car, see if you see anything that would suggest prior paint work. Obviously there's something that's been done, just don't know what. April of 2019, the low pressure fuel pump was reprogrammed for a humming noise. So again, that's very common on these. Most of them have been addressed, especially the ones that have had some miles on them. And it's a buzzing or a humming sound that you hear in the rear seat. And there's a customer service program that updates the software or the module for the fuel pump, and it stops that. And other than that, just kind of some regular service, and the last service being October 2023 at 52,000 miles. The things that you don't see on the service, there's nothing about 60,000 mile service. So that's the big one coming up. That's spark plugs, belts, fluids, differential transmission, everything. That can be a $2,000+ service if you have it done at the dealer. That's coming up on this car. Nothing about the valley plate leak. So that's again another 2,000+ potential gotcha, and it's not if, it's when it happens to these cars. Every single one of them is going to have this problem where you're going to have to spend $2,000, independent mechanic maybe $1,200 to $1,500 to get the valley plate resealed. Nothing about it on this car, so it's definitely, as part of a pre-purchase inspection, I would look very closely at that valley plate. Make sure you get a scope under there. Have them look at it, make sure it doesn't need it, because it's right around this age and mileage where everything is going to need it. This car was done, it's also a 16, it was done at 52,000 miles, and that was last year. The carbon fiber obviously needs to be inspected very closely, make sure it's not showing any signs of delamination. If it is, use that as a sign, or as a tool for negotiating when purchasing this vehicle, because each of those pieces is $1,000 to $1,500 each, and there's 5 pieces on it that delaminate. You have the alternative of removing them, sending them to that shop in Florida, SMA Fabrication. He'll redo them for a couple $100 a piece. Your money ahead, and it won't delaminate again. A couple of the other things, no evidence of the lower control arm bushings being done, and so that causes the inner tire wear on the front tires. So if you're looking at it, turn the wheels all the way to the left and the right, look at the inside of the front tires, make sure there's no excessive wear. The other thing is the HVAC servo reprogramming or servo sweeps, things like that. It's usually more affected by cars in the colder climates, but I don't see anything about the servos being replaced, reprogrammed, anything like that. So when you go and test drive this car, make sure you do the usual, set one side on max hot, the other on max cold, and then go through the defrost, the head, the feet, all of that. Cycle through all of it, make sure it all works. And finally, the only other thing that I see, the brakes were last, the front brakes were last replaced at the Lexus dealer at 21,000 miles. There is something on the Carfax around 27,000 miles where it says brakes are serviced. So any way you look at it, 30-ish thousand miles on these brakes, unless they've been done DIY, you're probably going to be due for brakes for this car. And again, that's if you do it at the dealer, that's another $2,000. So if you do it as a DIY, $500, $600, something like that. It looks like that there's a lot of future potential expenses that are hiding in plain sight with this car. And so you're talking about the valley plate leak, the brakes, the carbon fiber trim, the front lower control arm bushings, the usual things that you have to look at these cars. I don't see any of them being addressed. So if you're buying this car at $50,000, you're probably going to be in it more like $56,000, $55,000, something like that, to get everything straightened out. And at that price, then it's a little high. However, the price that they have it listed at for $50,000, if it needed nothing, then the price is spot on for the mileage right now. Somewhere around $48,000 to $52,000 is kind of where this car should be if it was fully sorted and ready to go. It doesn't appear that that's the case unless they can prove otherwise, like the valley plate being done, the brakes being done, what have you. The carbon fiber stuff, you can let that slide because you can kind of do that on your own as time progresses. You know, some people just live with it. A lot of people live with it because it's so expensive to fix. But there is some more just hiding there, that the $50,000 purchase price is not all you're going to spend on this car, is what it looks like. But it is one of the clean title, no accident cars, and you've heard me talk about in the past, there's less than 1,000 of these cars left that are in the US 49 market that are clean title, no accidents, and falling every day. So this is one of those. So it has that going for it. It is a common combination, but it is a desirable car. And so that brings me to, would I buy this car? I think if I could get it for just a little bit cheaper, knowing that I'm going to have to put money into it, I think it would be a great car. Still low miles, not even 60,000 miles, but you're going to have to spend some money on 60,000 mile service, brakes, valley plate. You know, there's some money you're going to have to spend on this car. But the wrap, if it is a wrap, if it's painted on, maybe a different story. But if it is a wrap, that's not really my taste. I would probably remove that, leave the chrome delete, and leave it be. But you know, if you get it 46, 47, 48,000, something like that, I think it would be a great buy at this point. It's definitely one of the good ones otherwise. Fairly well serviced. It's been serviced, so that's important. But fluids definitely need to be done. 60,000 mile service definitely needs to be done. So anyways, that's what I've got for you guys. VIN 1618. Go check that one out. Definitely looks to be promising, but definitely warrants a further inspection, visual and mechanical. So go check it out. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.